Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
We have one OPEX meeting all day today, so that's a red folder for everybody. So that may play a little, especially with the Canadian dollar, which is an oil-related currency. And then at 8:30, and then tomorrow at 8:30, we look and have lots of red folders. U.S. non-farm payroll. That's the 8:30 tomorrow. And like you can also see banking holidays tomorrow. That's on the Forex Factory.
And we're not. Are we trading tomorrow? I don't think so.
I'm not
Or
sure
what?
we need to. We can maybe take a poll and see if anybody's going to be here. And I was planning on being here, but that doesn't mean we have to be. We could take the day off. We'll see. We can discuss that at another time here.
Sounds good.
April 8:30 today, April 1st, 8:30. We have some red folders with the Canadian building permits. Jobless claims, that's all at 8:30 today. And then scrolling down later on today at 10 o'clock, we have some more U.S. news. So expect maybe expect a little volatility with the U.S. dollar. And we'll just take and see what happens. There's a U.S. alert coming in, so let's take a look at that. Also, let me take a look at the we're going to be looking, there's a Euro US. Let's just take a quick look and see what our strong currencies are right now. The New Zealand dollar is strong. Canadian dollar is weak on pretty much all four time frames. So, and the Euro and the US is getting a little bit of strength to the Euro. So if we have an alert with the Euro US, it is in a buy, which tells me that the Euro should be stronger. And I'm not sure I would agree with that. So we may have to take a look and see what the chart tells us here. Euro US, and we're going to go over to the charts. And me switch screens here. And everybody should be seeing our charts. This is we are in a downtrend with an up arrow. Contra trend right here. We are in a downtrend. We're going to put a down arrow in over here. Down arrow, and we're going to slide. This is our money zone for today. Here's the entry for the alert, and it is contra trend. We are getting a crossover of the moving averages. We are above the moving average. The 200 moving average came back down. This is it's contra trend, but I don't like the fact that the dollar is overall stronger than the euro on 3 of the time frames. So that's telling me that this may just be a temporary thing to go to the upside. Let's see how much room we have here. From here to here, again, so we only have 9 pips, almost 10 pips. I'm going to pass on this just because, one, the strength is to the dollar, which is to the short side, and we're getting close to the zone. And we did have a little bit of a bounce up. It came up, might make it to the zone. We have a trend line that is starting to form from this trend to here, the sloping, downward sloping. I'm looking at this as being nothing real conclusive. I like to see and we also have a bottom trend line. So I'd be more apt to be looking at a break to the downside, just based on one, we do have a downtrend. It is coming up it did bounce up off the zone with a little bit of a lower high and just making higher lows. And I'm looking for a break, come back up, test, and then come back down again. So if we get a down arrow, I'd be more apt to take this one in the down with a down arrow. And also the moving average, this arrow moving average hasn't crossed the 200 moving average yet, which means that if this thing starts to give off, start weakening, this thing is going to curl around and it may have another nice little downtrend here. So no trade on this one. I think it's going in the wrong direction. And what else do we have here?
Fire up my my arrow, see what we got this morning.
And my gearbox is still in drawdown, but is still taking profits on some trades. So the drawdown isn't quite as bad as it was last night when I went to bed. So it's better this morning. Plus, it closed out some trades overnight. So that's all a good thing. As long as it can maintain within a certain drawdown, I'm okay with it. And just let it keep on chugging away with putting some money in the bank.
How's it's been pretty slow this week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much all over. It's been slow.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it just wasn't me. Maybe I had something set up wrong. But I mean, I've got 4 gearbox accounts running, and they're all slow. One's sitting in a little bit of drawdown, but the other one's, I got one account that didn't even take a trade, even though it's trading.
So my Neo didn't take any trades last night. I don't know if it's because I missed
You
a couple of
didn't approve
alerts.
it,
I may have missed a couple of alerts.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Swiss yen.
Okay.
Let's see.
Let's go check some Swiss yen, man. See if we got something that we can play with.
Swiss yen is we are in a downtrend. This was interesting. We drew this up. We drew this yesterday. We drew this little W yesterday, and you can see I pretty much called that about right. We traded inside these little triangles. It finally broke out, came back down, retested, went on up, and then it just broke the whole thing and started on down again. But there was a nice little W right here to the upside. I'm not sure I'm seeing an M at the top, but it did kind of called that wedge situation pretty well. Had a little bit of a break here, fake out, takes to the upside. And you'll see a lot of these little fake outs like that will break to the downside. One thing to keep in mind is that when you see these little formations, and you have when you have like the peak of the W or the bottom of the M, look for this pullback. And then when you get when it looks like it wants to break a trend line, just take a look and make sure that when it does break, that you have a clean break. When I say clean break, be looking for the trend to actually get a close below this pivot low. We had a pivot low over here. We had a trend up. We had slight angle on the trend line. But if you can flat line this to the bottom and then get a break where you actually get a close below this pivot and then get the retracement, that's a lot safer bet than if it just kind of wicks down and just enough to get everybody sucked into the trade only to zoom off to the other side. I said when you get the pullback, make sure you get a close above. Like over here, you finally, these are just little wicks up here, came back down again. This one closed above, nice clean close, came back to the trend line and took off again. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh yeah, no,
you're going to say something.
No, I was going to say it looks like if you drag that trend line that you draw, that bottom one, you drag it all the way left. Look at that.
And you see right here. So it's respecting this. It came down, it broke it. And you can see where it broke it, came back up, retested this zone, came down, broke it, retested it, came down, now starting to make lower lows. Again, this is one reason we want to make sure we're with the trend on this one.
You see that small zone can be deceiving because that's not really a weak zone. That's a very strong zone. So right if it breaks through there, you're looking for a potential move to the upside, right?
Yeah, and this is that's a 14 pip zone, which is a pretty common area. I said I like a lot of these things move in 7, 14, 21 pip moves, and so that's a 14 pip range, and that's pretty much what it's doing. And I'd be willing to wager that if you measure this from here down to the bottom, it's probably going to be about 21 pips. Let me see how close I am. I have not measured this. See if I'm anywhere close to being right about that one. That's 30 pips there. There's 25 pips here. And probably a little bit more than that, more than 21. But you can get the idea. It's liking to go in 7 pip 7 pips, 14 pips, 21 pips, 28 pips. There's 30.
Yes, it does.
And so we do have a down arrow. We are looking at this zone coming in, but if we, again, right into a zone right here. So this is going to be tough to get through. That's a fairly thick area. It's going to have to break through. This is the low of today's money zone. Let's go over here to the left and see where, actually this was yesterday's money zone. And we had let's see, where's the top? Here's the bottom of the money zone, right, of yesterday's money zone, which amazingly enough is right there where that trend line is, where this pivot low was. That was low of yesterday, came back down, hit it a couple times, broke it, came back up, retesting it. And we have a low over here from a couple days ago. And I would suspect that this will be tested some point in time today, possibly to the downside. It probably, possibly make a new daily money zone low. So if we were to get an alert, we still have to get through all this area. I'm not sure there'd be enough there to get a trade or not that or not.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes, Christine.
Your alert came in on that 5 minute, so I just want to let you know.
Oh, thanks.
Change your chart.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right. Let's see what the 5 minute was here. And that was about 20 minutes ago. Here was let's see, we'd probably have to stop up around here if we were to take this. Again, you're right into the zone. I would be looking at probably a target, maybe at best, I'd be looking at maybe try and eke out a target to yesterday's zone, which would have been right about here. You can see where it's brighter on this. You can see that's where the money zone overlay is. So you can see that's right where the low of, let's see, this would be on the 30th, that'd be Tuesdays. So Tuesday, Wednesday, this is Thursday today. If it does break, it would probably go ahead and retest this where my blue line is. But that's, we have to be looking at going a little bit deeper into that green zone. And if it breaks, then we have a pretty much clear sailing down to the next one. We were in an uptrend up here, and now we're looking like we're pretty much equal 1, 2, 3, 4 zones, 1, 2, 3, 4 zones. So right now we're pretty much in equilibrium between the buys and the sells. So we got double arrows here. That kind of tells me that we are about equal on that. And see where else we have here.
Got a lot of 5 minute alerts this morning there, Al.
I shouldn't have any because I don't have
No, for me. I'm getting a lot.
Well, I just got another one here. That's the US. Oh, that's US 30. Okay, that would be on a 5 minute chart.
Yeah, let me see.
US 30. Let's see if we can find where it is.
You got one on US 30. I didn't.
I don't generally trade that. Someone talked me into putting that on my chart. Oh, here we go.
I wonder who did. Actually, you got a
probably
nice bounce.
Somebody whose name begins with an E, I think.
No, I told you to put the German 30. I don't trade the US 30.
Oh, you don't trade the
US 30 is a monster. Like you put 0.01.
I do not trade the US 30 because it is a monster.
Like you put 0.01, man, and you go for your regular target, you could be down like $20 in a flash.
Yes, but this one looks like it actually doesn't look too bad. The dollar is.
You're going into that zone though.
Yeah, generally when the dollar is strong, the markets are. When the dollar is weak, is when the markets are strong. This thing is taking off pretty nicely, actually. This is probably going to be a good trade. The dollar is weakening a little bit from where it was earlier today. I'm not taking this trade. We're already out of the chute on it. It's almost up to the target.
Yeah.
Because
you got a really strong trend line there, though, on the 5 minute, on US 30 from the top all the way down to, you got 3 really nice connections. All the way back a little bit more. If you go back.
Or all the way over here?
Yeah, I made a big one. If you go to like 15, you're probably going to see it better. Check that thing out.
So we're looking at this.
Right there.
It's hard to not pay attention to trend lines.
No, you can't. You can't miss it, right? I would.
No,
I
see,
don't know now.
see that,
We're
and
off a
that's
little bit.
I'm be more apt to see.
Bring that down. What do you
Yeah,
think?
bring it down. Either bring it down to this one,
Yeah,
possibly, but I'm
Yeah.
still, yeah, that's a little bit better.
it
So
is
here's
better.
There's the anchor. Whoops. Let me get this a little bit higher. There's the anchor. Here's the first hit right there. And now it's testing the trend line. This one's
That is
coming up.
gonna be nice.
Yeah, this could be a nice little, this could be just a strong move up, right up into the zone. Take the trade if you feel so inclined to do so. Let's see, are we in an uptrend or downtrend? We are in a, but we're about equal on this one. Let me see if I can zoom in, zoom out and see if I can get a little better feel for what the two zones and two zones. There's the third zone right there. So actually it's kind of somewhat in a downtrend. I would be more apt to be looking at this thing coming up, testing the trend line. If you were to take it short here, have your stop just above this area. If it comes through, breaks, closes above, then you're looking to go on higher. But right now I'm thinking this thing is just gonna be a little bit of a head fake. The fact is moving so strong right up to the trend line, a lot of times that's where they really get you sucked in. They think, oh, this thing's taking off. I'm going to go and get into this thing just in time for it to turn around. I would still be more apt to be favoring this to the downside. It is a little bit in a downtrend. This zone just got developed earlier today. And you can see it's already pulling back from this little, and you got this here, the wicks came up here. And let's see, where's my line? Here's the top of the body. You can see this thing came right up to the top of the body. There's some sellers right up in this area where these wicks are. There's some sellers in there. So you're going to have a little bit of a barrier to get through. If you were to take this thing short, you have your stop on the other side of the zone. If you did a like a limit order right there at the zone, if it broke through, keep your stop short, and then you'd have a nice little move to the downside for the target. And there's another trend coming down on the bottom. It's really inside a trend, a wedge from a bigger picture. Low, here's the anchor, here's the hit, here's your wedge. And right now, I would be saying you could be looking at selling up here, buying down there if you so chose to play that game. German 30, we got one here for you, Eva.
Oh, good.
Is that German 30 buy? Is that what it is?
German 30 buy, yep. Now, this may not be, this is, a lot of times, this is actually not looking too bad. Are we in an uptrend? I think we are. We are definitely in an uptrend. We have a bounce arrow. I think I may take this one. So we have 30 pips, 20 pips.
I love this one.
What do we have to the upside?
What do you think, Ava? You're the German 30.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take this one.
I'll take this one too.
And we're above all moving averages. We're getting the curl up on the arrow moving average. We're bounced off of the 200, bounced off the zone, bounce arrow. This was a little bit of a
Pull back. That's a wedge break, Al. Not the wedge break of that trend line.
Here we go. And we have this trend line right here.
Yeah, down. Yes. No, not there. Next one. Yeah.
Let's see. How about, let's see. Let's try and move this in a little bit.
A little
move
bit
this
higher,
one down.
yeah.
Take it to where that broke out of the zone. See if we can find out.
Next one,
actually,
I think it was.
Well, here we go.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay, that'll do. Look at that.
Broke, closed, retested the trend line, and then it's taken off.
Give her, man.
Yeah, I can work with that one.
German 30, just understand that when you enter that, you need a pretty substantial account. Don't trade it with $100.
Yeah, that takes a little bit of.
And don't. Well, this is not financial advice, guys. It's just the experience of playing around with the indices. They move differently. They move really fast. They're very profitable, and they can eat your lunch really fast as well. You see 0.01, you're already $3, right?
Yep. Let's
It's
see. Well,
quick.
the size on this one is 0.03. So
Oh,
basically,
0.03, okay.
it looks like it's going to be about $3 per pip. Is what it looks like.
Yeah. When it gets moving, it's gonna move.
Garvin said that Nate took a trade in the German 30 last night. Well, early this morning, actually.
Would have been a
He
buy,
doesn't do
huh?
night. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I've been really loving the good old indices there. It's a little different, but you can get some stuff. I'm gonna have to step away for a couple minutes. I will be back.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hold on to that trade for a little bit.
And I'm trying to find it on something else here. Anyway, we'll take a look at that and see how this thing works out until we get another alert. Close this one off. Yeah, but I just kind of like this one. We had a nice little break of the trend line, broke it, retested it, and now it's looking like we're heading back to the upside. We also have a trend from the bottom here where it came out of the zone. And this is a little bit of strong retracement back to this area and heading back on up again.
There's a lot of powerful trend lines in that range of view that you see there, right there, Al. There's a lot of nice trend lines. There's even a flat one from the high before that to right before it breaks, like to the left there. Keep on going to the left more.
This one?
Even deeper.
No.
Even more.
More deep, more left?
Way back there. Yeah, look at
right
that.
Here?
From here to that other high, and then to where current price is might be a bottom.
See, this was a high, came down, came up, rejected it, broke through, came back, retest. So this is the area right in here where you can see I'll be looking at right in this area. Now it is ranging
Check that
somewhere.
out, eh?
It is ranging somewhere in here. If it can break through, right now it got rejected a little bit right in here. So be careful with that. But right now it's inside this zone. If it can break through the top, it's probably going to be heading up. It's finding, this is like this little zone right in here where these two lines, horizontal lines are. It's like a magnet. When it breaks out, it brings it right back in. Breaks out, brings it back in again. Breaks out, brings it back in again.
Yeah, this is right. Totally random, right, Al?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have another little, we can look at this as a trend here. Bring this back down. Here's where the nice pullback was.
Yes.
And we have a trend going up to the upside.
It could bounce
now,
off that bottom there. That bottom and that trend line there, there's actually a green zone there on the 1 minute chart.
That's right in this area right
here. Oh, it's lower. Okay. I thought it was higher than that. Oh, well. Yeah, that's fine.
But it does look like it has some strength to the upside on this one.
Yes, sir.
And bottom is you can have your stop. You can keep a fairly tight stop on this. I probably would have my stop, probably somewhere right around in where this crosses here. Because if it's going to break to the upside, it's going to break before it comes back down. If it comes back down into this area, I want to have my stop at somewhere between this point and this point. So
Yeah, so if you bring your stop to the bottom of that that other candle down there, where your origin is, I mean, you're looking at pretty significant.
oops,
I don't.
got the wrong one.
I forget how many pips down there. Oh yeah, that's true, right? We're at all-time highs on the German 30.
And we seem to be breaking all-time highs on everything here lately with when it comes to the indexes.
Well, the markets have been special, man. Markets have been special. So
That's not what I use. But
well,
you're very
I'm
smart.
trying to be
Facetious.
politically correct. It's been slow. But yeah, check the stinking. So if you put it at where that cross is, right? That's 2,000 pips, guys. Okay, that's 2,000 pips on the German 30.
$2,000 pips would basically be about I was looking at something.
About $20 move or something like
Yeah,
that.
about $20 move. Yeah,
About, give or take.
Basically, slide the decimal point two places to the left, and that pretty much gives you what the dollar amount's going to be.
Bingo. Takes some getting used to though,
It
because
does.
if you think you're going in there with 0.10, you're gravely mistaken. It probably won't even let you take the
Looks like
trade.
we have a Euro Swiss trade here, possibility.
Excuse me, just to
Yes.
keep in mind today, Al, while you're with your drawing tools, Motion has in the Q&A that if you can give some tips on drawing trend lines and wedges, he's not sure if he draws them correctly, and would appreciate your help in advance.
All right, well, just hang in there with us because we draw lots of trend lines and lots of wedges, and I'll keep on explaining what we look for. But basically, we're looking for pivot highs, we're looking for pullbacks, and then we're trying to connect the dots. And we usually start with one, which is the ultimate high of a range. We start with it, they call that the anchor, and then we try and line 2 or 3, at least have the anchor and then have a hit and have 2 hits, and then that creates a trend line. Then once that gets broken, we look for a break, come back to retest the line, and then takes off. So like here would be the anchor, and it's just your eyes just kind of go to see where these pivot highs are aligned.
Yeah,
you can see that. And so this is and we could almost take this one up a little bit higher to that point, but looks like it just seemed to follow the trend a little bit better we could have taken it. Basically, you're just trying to get as many of these candles to touch that line at the same time. And the more candles that touch, the stronger that line is. You see it came up to that point, rejected, came up to the point, rejected, came up to the point, rejected. And so that's why here's my anchor, here's my hit, came up here, and then it broke. After it broke, candles comes back down. Usually it will retest the trend line. It'll break, come back, form this little wedge, and then we look at for taking off. Down here was the anchor. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. The third hit usually creates the trend line, validates the trend line. The anchor, the first hit, it draws it. The second hit the third hit validates it. And then once that's validated, then you just keep on following, wait for it to pull back, take the trade, look at where the next series of the wicks are, and that's usually your target area. I'm going to be looking at this area right up here as a possible target for this trade. Somewhere above, we see where here's the wick. Now it did form into a body, so I think we'd probably go up a little bit higher here. But if you go to the top of this wick, you run into another wick, you run into another wick, you run into another wick, another wick, another wick, another wick, another wick. So all these wicks until you get to like here's the wick, comes over, there's the body, and then you come up, that's your next target.
So you're putting your take profit just on top of those wicks there.
Right.
That's
so you can see where this wick came up, hit the wick, body. And once we can get it to break through this series of wicks, this is the next target right up here at the 1585, because that's where you start running into some more wicks again. But once you get this nice, clean, extended range candle Once it can break through where all these lower wicks are, that's the next target. And so
That
my
makes
target is
sense.
going to be about 15,085. I need to get that put in here. So I'll put it modify, come into 15 for a target 15.
I like how
Oh,
you're using that price action experience to put your
yeah.
targets, get a little bit more pips, tighten up the stop a little bit. So
Yep. And so my stop,
Um,
I'd be looking at my stop being somewhere around the 15,055, 15,055 area. And we have and that's my trade. So now if it comes up there, and if it gets anywhere close to that line and starts fighting it, I'm just going to pull the trade and take my profit. I don't let it bounce around too long. If it can break through that pretty easily, then I pull the trade and take my profits and say thank you.
absolutely. So just one more note here, guys. My margin requirement on this trade on a 0.01 on my broker is $88. So that means you need $88 in your trading account that's being held to take a 0.01 on the German 30.
That's quite a bit, actually.
It's substantial. On the US 30, I think it's like $150 or something like that. And that's not any movement in the price. That's just to place the trade. So as the price moves, then your margin's going to drop really fast.
We did have a Euro Swiss sell. Let's see take a look at this one. We are in a uptrend with a
That's
down
a 5-minute
arrow.
chart, Al. That's a 5-minute.
What's that? I'm on the wrong time frame. Yep, I am.
Yeah. No, I mean your alert came through on a 5-minute.
5-minute. Okay, well, let's take a look at it anyway since we're on the 5-minute here. We're in an uptrend. We had a down arrow. So basically we'll be looking for maybe a pullback to go to the upside, but we don't want to be taking it in the counter trend. That's not to say it won't work out, but generally speaking, we try to stay with the trend.
Yeah.
And we have an up arrow. We have an uptrend, so I'm going to put an up arrow here.
Yeah, that's a hard no for me, guys. That's a hard no.
And here's gold. That's not good. I had all these things on the 15-minute. Why am I getting all these?
Because your chart, they
Yeah,
all.
I keep on switching the time frame on these charts.
Yeah, see, there's a Swiss yen. You've got it on a 5-minute chart.
Swiss, yeah. Yep.
And that would.
I forget to put. I look at it on a lower time frame, and I forget to put them back again.
Yeah, I think most of us do that. I do that as well.
15. That's when I'll get the dashboard loaded up this weekend, and that will solve that problem. That way, you have all of them handy and looking at them.
I think you're all good now.
Okay, good. And we look at gold. There's a gold trade, and that is on the 5-minute chart with a buy for gold. Better see gold going back up again a little bit, but it's still too range bound to take that. And let's see, looks like New Zealand. Let's take a look at the New Zealand CAD. Oh, and we have some good news. Apparently the PIP calculator is in the back office now. And let me put the link into where you can find it. Let me copy this link. I'm going to put the link in the chat box for all panelists and attendees. And you should be able to find it in the back office at that link. Let me know how that works for you. See if there's any glitches that we need to work out. I think what you're gonna have to do is download it into a OneDrive, but I'm not real clear on that process. But I know it is there. I did check to see that is in there, and Bill told me that was there, and it is. And I think there's a way of actually downloading it into a OneDrive folder so it actually starts working for you. If anybody wants to try that out and report back, let me know if you've run into any problems so I can address that with Bill. I'm not that clear on some of these OneDrive things, so I have a OneDrive, but I'm not sure it went to the right place or not. I'm somewhat challenged in things like Facebook and some of these other aspects of computering.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
Eva also put a great link in for the stock market listing that, tomorrow. It's, the day because of Good Friday. No trading.
Oh, about what's what banks are open and things. Is that what you're talking about?
It has, it just was a listing that, the market, I think in total.
Yeah.
But just so for Good Friday remembrance.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
We did do a look and see. I know there's a lot of banking holidays. I did not see any place where the U.S. banks were going to be on holiday tomorrow, but
not the banks, but the market. The banks are open until they close earlier, but they are open in the morning. But the market, according to the link I just put in the chat, the market tomorrow is closed.
okay. Well, let's see here. Let me open this link up here and see what it says here. Stock market and banking holidays. Here we go. Here's what we're looking at. Good Friday, April 2nd. Stock market and bank holidays. Stock exchange holidays. Trades and participant accounts will not be processed or any of the days specified. Okay. I say there's no reason to be having a session tomorrow, being it's Good Friday, and the stock market's going to be closed. Would everybody agree with that? Take the day off. Start an early weekend.
I'm good with that.
I think we'll just plan on that. We'll just plan on not having any session tomorrow here. I like taking holidays when the banks have holidays and markets are slow. It's we spend enough time at this. Give yourself a reason to not be here.
Yes, and on another note, Leslie said that the link for Auvoria Prime, it's under resources and trading tools when you take that link.
Yep. Actually, I put that link. That link should have taken to that. Did it? Did not take it there? Oh yeah, it is under. Yeah, I forgot. I guess that this is a different addendum. Yeah, so you get to that link and then you go to resources and trading tools, and that's where you should find the PIP calculator that everybody's been waiting for.
I just want to clarify something. Judson is saying Good Friday is April 30th. Yes, that was April 3rd. Good Friday is tomorrow, not April 30th.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
is he trying to do a April Fool's joke?
I don't know what he's doing. Around so much. I thought I'd take him seriously. Yeah, this weekend is Easter, my friend.
And Leslie said that she was able to download the Auvoria Prime, the PIP calculator, onto her laptop's Excel.
Okay, well, yeah, good.
Nice, helpful hints.
Yeah, because that is an Excel worksheet. It is an Excel file. That's where it was developed. So yeah, it works on Excel. Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
And it's working for you, Leslie. Is that right? Am I clear to understand that you got it work? It's working for you.
Yes.
Okay, great. Makes me happy. That makes me happy to hear that.
However, Garvin mentioned that Nate will still be trading the London session tomorrow.
That would be tonight's session. Tonight.
Correct. Early morning, 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, we are making progress. And this trade's still working out okay. I still have struggling a little bit into this this area. It is struggling a little bit getting through this little zone right in here. I said once it can break through, once we can get a close above this line right here, I'm looking at this candle right here with the body of this candle. Once we can get a close above that, we should be on our way. Let me take it down to 1 minute and see what we got. It is coming right up into 1 minute zone, so it's going to have to go a little bit deeper to get any significant. Let's see, how many pips is this one from here? This is on the 1 minute chart, so keep that in mind. It's still basically $4 move. Yeah, 78 to 73-ish. Maybe a 1 minute zone, but still having some trouble getting through it.
Are you muted, Al?
No, I'm just not talking. I'm just
Okay.
don't know. I just don't
Oh,
know.
you do?
I'm just speechless right now.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything they'd like to look at while we're waiting for this thing to make us rich? Let's see what else we got here. Well, quiet group today.
No, well, there's a lot going on in the chat and Q&A. A lot of people want to help out today.
Maybe do some of these chat messages and see what we've got here.
Okay, Mark in the chat says, what's the point of this session? Learning session or to analyze and take trades?
Both. Basically, when we get trade alerts, we take the trades. And when we take the trades, we analyze them to see there's some basic strategies that Arrow has. And we try to focus on those strategies, but we also go a little bit deeper when some of the trades look like it's not a good trade. We analyze and try to explain why we don't think it's a good trade or why we think it is a good trade. So this session is pretty much of a session to learn and expose people to technical analysis and price action, along with the strategies of the alerts. Hopefully that answers your question.
That we just received 2 alerts.
And we just received 2 CAD yen. Okay, so we look at the CAD yen. And just because we get an alert doesn't mean it's a tradable trade. And part of it is to try to make those distinctions between good trades and not so good trades, trying to weigh our odds. And we do that through technical analysis. So yeah, this session is pretty much geared to helping people learn the art of manual trading and technical analysis. So we are in an uptrend. Here's a bounce arrow. That could have been like a bounce arrow go. It looks like we're in an uptrend, but it didn't really work out on that one. So we are in an uptrend. And you can see it. This is where I had the zone yesterday. And it's made 2 new zones today. So it's still in an uptrend. So we're looking at buying pullbacks.
Oh, CAD yen. Al, you're on the wrong chart.
Okay. Oh.
Thanks, Christopher.
CAD yen. Yeah, I did get the wrong one, didn't I? Thank you. Oh, that didn't look right. CAD yen. CAD yen. Here we go. Let's try this one.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so now we are in, looks like we're in an uptrend. Lots of green, a little bit of red. So we are in an uptrend coming down into the So we're in an uptrend with the down arrow. So I'd be looking pretty much, right now I'm looking to see if this thing can bounce off of this zone and give us an up arrow to take the trade. So I'm going to move this to we are in an uptrend, so I'm going to put my arrow right here. Down arrow, if it comes back, if we can get a bounce off of that into the green zone, we will reassess. But right now it's no trade. We have a down arrow, the zone's right here, plus it's going in the wrong direction. So that pretty much immediately eliminates that for the trade.
And then there's the Euro.
Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie, that's right here. And again, we're going to check and show you our direction. We are an uptrend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green. 1, 2, 3 red, and yeah, 3 red. So we're in an uptrend. So we're going to use a up arrow right in here. And let me take all this other stuff off. Delete that one. Oh, shoot. What happened there? How did I do that? We're going to delete that message. Delete that one. I actually, somehow I don't even know how I did that. Okay, so we have a down arrow. We do have a lot of room to the downside, but I don't like the Euro Aussie. Let's see how strong the Euro and Aussie are right now. The Aussie and Euro are pretty much neck and neck as far as strength goes. One's going to be fighting the other one. I'd be hesitant to take anything on this one right now. Get rid of that. And we have a nice strong downtrend here. And we have I'd be looking at, here's a pivot low. Now we are getting a little bit of a break of, now someone was asking about the trend lines. Here's a pivot low. Here's really where this thing really started. It was going sideways, and this is where it really broke. So I really prefer to take this trend line. We can start it from down there and use this as where it started to launch out. But I like to somehow be able to pick this is a nice little pivot low. This is where the price was rejected the last time. So to draw this trend line, we're looking at, I like this upper trend here. I'll make these a different color because I don't like this color for trend lines. Get my blue back up again.
Yeah, Christopher did say it looks like an M formation.
Yeah, this does look like the M. So here's the start. Here's the left shore of the M. Here's the middle of the M. I would like to see it get up a little bit higher than what it did. We did have, if we take from where the middle of this M is, I kind of like starting off right about where this thing launched out here, bring it back down to, now it did break. Now this thing could go a lot lower here. It did break the M, it did have a short, but it basically have to wait and see what happens with the no. I would have liked to have seen it get up a little bit higher than that. I'm looking right now to see, did we get a close below this line here? And right now we haven't really, this down candle did give a little bit of a close below. I see it pull back and retest this trend line right here, this red line. Here's the anchor, here's a hit, here's the break, came back up, broke again. It does have some room to the downside, but we're kind of going in the wrong direction. This would be a counter trend. It is at 8 o'clock. So we're in the counter trend strategy where we could take it on the counter trend. The only thing I don't like is I don't like the euro is a little bit stronger than the Aussie right now. Well, it's starting to flip over. Aussie's starting to gain a little bit of strength, but they're not that much different between. I'm just a little leery about this one. It's just, this would qualify as a counter trend, although it's not really a bag trade where there's like we had the bounce. We don't have we had the retracement, and now we have the arrow. We didn't get the arrow off the bounce. If we have had the arrow here, I would have felt a lot better about it. But it went and retraced back up. This one still could work out. Looks like we just got did we just get our target on that? No, it's still there. Let's take a look at our Deutsches 30, our German 30. And it's just about ready to hit my target. And I'm going to close that one out. That's a nice little trade. CAD yen. Let's take a look what we do. We do that one yet? Let's see, any other questions?
Doesn't seem to be any.
It's kind of
a slow day. And this whole week has been slow, but
yeah.
kind of knew it would be.
We're doing all right. I guess my next question, is there a difference between the German 30 and the DE 30?
No, they're both the same.
How about the DJ 30?
That's a Dow Jones, is it not?
Oh, that's the Dow Jones. That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes.
The DE is for Deutsch, which is German and German.
Let's see, we did get an alert on the Dow Jones 30. Let's take a look at that again. Where is it? That one. US 30, that must be it. There's one where we got the alert and went right back, went straight up, and then you can see where it didn't even quite make the target here. But plus, I don't think there was enough. How much room did we have off that alert? Basically $23, it looks like. And so we're just in here, we're just waiting for alerts and just taking them as they come. Let's see. Let's take a look at the US CAD.
Did your German take profit now?
It was close enough to where I took the profit on it, yes. I said when it gets, it was like up 100, it was $100, I guess it was, and I said that was close enough.
Excuse me, Al? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I didn't know you were going to say something else. I
No,
just want
good.
to, okay. Speaking of just, like that, it was close enough. Toasted Born has a question. He took the pound Swiss as a bag entry on the 15-minute this morning during Nate's session. It still didn't hit 15 pips. His take profit of 20, but even 15. And now it is minus 20. Could you take a look, please?
British Swiss, you say?
Yes.
Pound Swiss?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it had a, well, it's right now. So it was on, what time was the alert? Was it a long? Probably up here, I'm going to guess.
Yeah. As soon as I'm told, I'll tell you.
Okay, so there's an arrow up. So it looks like we're in.
It was a long.
Yep. I'm going to guess it was probably this one right here.
Yeah.
And that was probably a money zone break. It was a overnight, here's I'm going to surmise that here's the money zone. Here was the high of the overnight session. We got the break right here. So more than likely they took it long. It was up. How much did you get? Assuming you got in. You could have gotten in on the break and of the break and close of the overnight high and low. Barely, yeah, you're right at the 20 pips. Now it's pulling back a little bit on you. 30, 40. I mean, it still has room to the upside. I mean, these things it's in a range right now. Here's you gotta see a little bit of a wedge right here. There's a low. It bounced. It did come back down to the zone, bounced back up again. It is making pretty much a little bit lower highs, higher lows. So it is sort of it's forming its own little wedge. It couldn't quite make it much higher than what you had. So I'd say, no, you have two choices. I'd say be patient. Right now it's bouncing. Here's the anchor, here's the hit, here's the hit. If it breaks through that, you're pretty much going to get stopped out, depending on where your stop is. I would have my stop probably below this moving average. Maybe, you see there's two little zones right here. I would have my stop at least probably inside this other smaller zone. I don't know if that's going to be too much for it. That may be more than what you may want to be taking, depending on where you got in. If you got in off of this arrow, 40 pips is going to be right pretty much at the bottom of the money zone right now. I'd be more apt to give a little bit more room just because I would like to. You have two zones here. You have this zone is a lot stronger than this one. This one was made last night. This one was made a couple of days ago. I'd be more apt to at least keep it below this bright area here. Too bad you didn't take your profits. That's one reason why I said a lot of times when it gets very close to where my profit is, I usually I don't let it. If I see it comes up and starts fighting, if my profit target is like right here off of this candle and it comes up and it hits, it can't quite, because remember, it's got to break through whatever the spread is. It has to break through that point plus the spread in order to get you closed out. And if I see it coming up to right where my target is and it starts having problems, I just close it out and be done with it. I don't play around with it because I don't want to spend that much emotional inventory where I could have been profitable. Nothing drives me more crazy than when I'm just barely ready to take my profit and I have to then it comes back and now I have to worry about getting stopped out.
Just had three alerts.
I take my profits earlier all the time. Yes, ma'am.
We just had 3 new alerts. US,
okay.
The CAD Swiss, a lot of Swiss and a Swiss
side. A lot of Swiss and the Swiss. Let's see where the Swiss is right now. The Swiss is gaining strength again. So we're going to trade to the strength of the Swiss. CAD Swiss sell and buy. Yep, the Swiss is getting stronger. So let's look at the US Swiss. That would be my first choice. US Swiss.
And there you are.
Right here. See the direction we have. We are in an uptrend. We are in the counter trend time frame. Still in an uptrend. Coming and bouncing off, coming into the 200 moving average, which is still pointing up. I do not want to take it there. Let's take a look at the CAD Swiss. And we can come back and analyze this stuff a little bit further. CAD Swiss. This one has a little bit of room. The Swiss is strong, second currency of the pair, so we know we're going to trade it to the strength. And we have the alert was, actually, I'd be looking at this being the target. I'd be looking at, this is the entry. We are in an uptrend. This is counter trend. It looks like it's going to try and break through the bottom. I'd like to see it close below. We got this body. This is a strong move up. This was the origin of it. If we can get it closed below that, but I don't know if we're going to have enough room to the. This is where you can really get yourself into trouble if you just don't have. That's only 7 pips. This is moving. This is a 200 moving average. This is a strong support, and you only have about 7 pips. I would expect it to come back down, maybe, and get a bounce off of that. And right now we don't have a close below here, and plus you have another green zone. So it'd have to break through this zone, have to break through this, and then you have some room to the downside. I don't want to take this trade yet. Although I do like the fact that the Swiss is showing the strength to the dollar.
It's worth watching.
Yeah, it's worth watching. Let's put it on 5 minutes and see what we have on a 5 minute here. CAD Swiss. Let's look at this one a little bit closer here. CAD. CAD Swiss. And let's move this over into this area. And looks like it's in extreme there. Let's take a look at this on the microscope. I'm on a 15-minute chart, looking to see, here's the bounce. You can see where it penetrated and bounced. This is a 62 moving average right here. Here's the origin. Obviously, here's the origin of this strong move up. So I'm going to take it from there. I'm going to take it over to here. This was the first penetration. This was the first pullback. It was rejected. We came a little bit lower. I'm liking this one a little bit better. It did make some lower lows. It made a higher high. But here's where the fake out was, right in here. This thing could go lower. We had the break coming back, retesting. If we were to take it short, it has to break through this moving average, but it penetrated, couldn't close below. If I can get a close below this moving average, then I'd be looking at the next target being down right around in this area. It is contra trend though, because it has been in an uptrend. Contra trend trades they do work quite often, but not, they're less, it's a lower probability trade. Let's just say that.
Hey, Al, as you're working this up, Carrie would like to know, how did you get this gray screen?
The gray screen. What gray screen?
I don't know. It kind of looks black to me, but
black. It's black. Yeah.
But is that what you're asking? But
this is on TradingView. You're talking about TradingView?
Yes.
Settings.
Just
background. So just go to your settings tab, and get to appearance, background, and then you should be able to change the colors with that. I always keep my grids black. I don't always like seeing the grids too much. And this is where you can put your session break, where you have see where your day breaks are. It should be right in there. Just right click on the chart, settings, and then you should be able to adjust the background. Let's see, and let me look and see where this thing is. be looking for a pullback and then maybe take it short. Let's see. Let's go on a 5-minute chart. Well, let's see if it pulls back to that trend line. Good. We have all of our moving averages are in the right direction. We had the break of the trend line, came up tested. And target wise from that's only 10 pips to the target. Yeah, but the Swiss is stronger than the Canadian dollar right now. I think it's a reasonable trade to take. I wouldn't give it a lot of. I would, if you took it, wouldn't have to put my stop up above where this purple line is the 5-minute 62 exponential moving average. I'd have to have my stop up there. And that would be, it's basically, 15 pip stop and maybe a 7 pip target might work on this one. I like to see the 1 minute get a little bit higher on this though. Here's my 1 minute chart. You see we had a nice little drop. It's forming its own little wedge right in here. If this trend line can hold, and if this trend line can get broken, here's your wedge. And the Canadian dollar is now starting to show some strength on the 1 minute. I just see this pull back a little bit higher here. I don't think it's quite ready to break down yet. And so these things have been in a very tight range and they set up, but they don't follow through. There's not been a lot of follow through here this week. But that's what we do. We kind of analyze the trade to see if it looks like the probability exists. I am not opposed to taking a 7 pip or 10 pip target with a 15 pip stop if I have the direction and the momentum in my favor. In fact, sometimes I prefer doing that because that way I can take a larger lot size with a little tighter stop. I kind of like this trade as far as the CAD yen or CAD Swiss, but it's not really following through the way I would like to see it follow through. It's given a little bit of a mixed message here. I said, isn't an uptrend and it's trying to break through. Let's see what it looks like on a higher time frame. Strong uptrend. Like I said, I would expect it to bounce. If it does break through this green zone, I would expect it to bounce off of this moving average, right where this green line is. Plus, it's not really a back trade. This was the back trade. It was the bounce, the arrow. This was the back trade here. And now the question is, what I mean, things even with these back trades doesn't mean just because they do have a high probability, but they still get stopped out sometimes. See, that's 20. See, if you had use this as a back trade, your stop would be all the way down here. which is well below the moving average, which is not a bad place for it to be. As if you took this trade, but you'd be taking some heat, and you'd be thinking, well, it didn't get my target yet. This trade could still go for another day. Not saying it wouldn't be a good trade though. It is still in an uptrend. It is having a zone right here. It still might be one to be buying pullbacks, but you may get, actually, if you get a nice, and we did get a nice arrow right into the zone. If it can come out of the zone, that might be the nice little, that might be the trade. Because the reality is right now you're not getting a close. This is the overnight. Here's the money zone right in there. Where's my, let's go 0.4, 4.01. This ought to work. This was the overnight high right in here. This was the overnight low before the money zone. You did get the break, although this is kind of, you did get the break here. Once it hit the money zone, you did get the break. That is one of the strategies, is that when you get the, but I think you still need to be with the trend. This is a counter trend. I like to see this go through here and bounce off of that and give me an up arrow. That's what I kind of like to see that. Or better yet, have this zone hold with an up arrow out of this zone.
Oh my goodness, finally. Takes so long to do anything nowadays. Hey, great call on the German 30.
Yeah, that one worked out pretty well.
That was great. That was great. Looks like I locked in. Let me go see. I think my calculations are off. I don't know. I entered at 15,075 and I got out at 15,085. So it looks like it was a $10 move or something like that, give or take.
Yeah, that would be about right. US yen, I'm just going to learn on the US yen. Let's see what that's doing.
Cool.
Uptrend, down arrow. Looks like this could be a, actually this has the potential of being a bank conduction move where you have an uptrend. I'm pretty sure this is going to be an uptrend. Yep, uptrend. And actually it's making some new zones. Here was my top zone yesterday and it built 2 new zones. Now, once it starts doing that, though, eventually it's going to have to break and start going and taking profits and reversing. But right now, it's getting tighter and tighter. You can see where, this is where you have to be really careful, especially near the end of the week or new months and everything else that we talk about. You have a trend line here. It's making new highs, making higher lows. But now here's a pivot low, here's a pivot high, and it's making lower highs. So this is where it's starting to consolidate. This thing's maybe starting to think about turning around here a little bit. There's the anchor high. And you can see that if we draw the trend line from this area, we catch this, we catch this, we catch this. It did break, but it couldn't go up any higher. So this was a trap right in here. Comes back down, retest it, comes back up, pretty much equal highs. So this right now, this anchor, this hit, this hit, this near hit, another hit. This where this green line is, that's pretty much, and you can see where the zone is. You have two zones. I'd say this red zone is holding. And as we're making, and we're still making lower highs. So it's just basically basing and getting spooled up to side. It's going to go break up to the highest, break up higher, or it's going to come down, start taking out some of these zones and retest this trend line right here. But right now it still has a fair amount of upward pressure. All the moving averages are still in the, now you have this arrow moving average that's still above the 200, and it is starting to curl around. It's going to keep basing, but it's going to have to get through all these zones before it's going to go all the way. Here's where the breakout's going to be when it breaks down here, and it could come down, come back up. It could go back and forth in between this zone for quite a while. But remember, again, this is the beginning of a new month, so they're going to start taking positions, and they're going to start driving their prices down. If they want it to go up, they're going to drive their prices down, and then they're going to take their positions in the first week of the month, and then maybe, or they're going to drive it up, get their positions, and then sell it off at the end of the month.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
Garvin believes that this UJ is a bank induction. What do you think?
Well, it is, but there isn't, I don't think there's a lot of room to it to take the profits on it. Yeah, I will agree with that. I think it is a bank. We have an uptrend, down arrow into the green zone. The problem is, do we have room to the upside? I don't know that we do. So we only have 10 pips, US yen. I see that Cat Swiss is doing just about what we said we'd. I'm going to take a look at that one because that one's a significant one to take a look at again. Let me see here. The US yen. US is weak. The yen is also weak. Yeah, see, I don't like, I mean, there's not, I'd still like to see more room to the upside off of this. So you get the confirmation that it's a bank induction, and it looks like it could very well be. The problem is, and we did get the bounce off this trend line, but till you get into the trade, you're only looking at most 10 pips. If I can't get at least 15 pips out of the trade, I'm not taking it. Right there's only 10 at best. If you get in like right now, you're going to give up 2 pips for the spread. That brings you 8 pips, and when you get out, you're going to give up another pip or 2. So the most you can probably expect to get out of it, if you get a really good fill, you're looking at maybe 5 pips. And there isn't enough strength difference between the US yen for me to want to take that. Now, there was another trade that we were looking at earlier. We were looking at, see, was it? Let me see where it was it here.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at NAS for a scalp, NAS 100. Looks like it might set up for up arrow. If it does send up an up arrow, I would take that for a scalp.
NAS 100.
Yeah, if there's on the 1 minute specifically, but if there's an up arrow, then that is a really nice green light for me. But we do have that big red news coming up, so.
Well, that's right. We have news at we had some at 8:30, I think, and 10 o'clock we had some news.
Yeah.
On the U.S.
Let's see if I can.
This could be a bank induction on this as well. Down arrow right into zone. Now we're on a 1 minute chart, so and you're probably not going to get a lot of this. May look like a big space, but it's only be $11, I guess. Let's see, it's 47. Yeah, about $11 is be about 11. Now, usually with the indexes, we're looking at a $5 target, $10 or $10 stop. So this one could possibly work on a 1 minute. Strong move down, came into the zone with the down arrow into the zone, and we are in an uptrend. Let's see what it looks like on a 5-minute chart. Yeah, I would probably, if it were on a 5-minute chart with that, I'd be more apt to take it, not with the 1-minute chart so much. I think it's also making new highs too. I was looking. Let's see where. We did have some other. The daily chart on this. No, actually, not making new highs.
Yeah, Al, great call out on the US 30, Ava. Awesome. I've got a set up for work.
Did you get a good trade on that, Matt?
Yeah, I locked in a $10 move. It was great.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah, that was good. Anyway, I like the way that German 30 moves during our Hawkeye session. I'm going to keep my eyes really peeled for it because it seems to move very nicely.
Yeah, it does. And I hope it stays like this for some time. They have a way of ruining things after a while, but for now it's working.
Right. All right. Well, that's cool. I'll let you guys go, but thank you so much for the great call we had. And thank you everyone who participated in the call, asked questions, and who showed up. We just really, really appreciate our little trading family. You guys make this thing so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Yep. Thanks, Matt.
All right, Matt.
Have a great weekend.
Have a good
Happy
weekend,
Easter.
Matt. Yep.
Will do.
And let's see. So right now we're I'm not gonna take any trades. I mean, these right now we're in a red zone, a higher time frame red zone. I mean, this thing could very well go. That would be the target area. If we did get a arrow, I'd be looking at that as the target area. Here's a bounce arrow. This would be on a 5-minute chart. This would have been the area to bounce. Here's the arrow, but we're way up here now. So, but here's something I want to point out on the CAD yen that we were looking, or CAD Swiss we were talking about earlier. We were looking at maybe seeing about wanting it to break to the downside because it broke the wedge, came back up. We see how it broke the wedge, and now it's right back into the wedge again. And this is where this is where these fake outs come in. You're thinking we had a nice little break, but if I look at the 15-minute chart, let me get back over here. We had the break. I mean, actually, we did get a break of this pivot. Here was the pullback pivot. This is where the buyers came in, drove the price back up, made another little, actually broke the high here. This is where you just got to be so careful with it. You had the break, but we didn't get the close below this pivot. It went down, but it came right into the 62 moving average. Went back up, we think, okay, maybe we can take it short when we went on to a lower time frame. And we said, okay, it came up here. So I said, I want to see it break this trend line. Well, it came up and went right back into the wedge, retesting this. So right now, this thing still could break to the downside, but if you have taken it off of this, you have taken some heat on this. And now you have to play the game again. It's got to break through the trend line, come back up, retest the trend line, but now it's going to have to break through this little wedge. If you got in off of this break and say, okay, it's going to break down, you just had to sit and wait through. That's the 13 pip pullback, which isn't bad, but it still would have given you were expecting it to break and come on down. And this thing still could break, but you can see where it's starting to make another little wedge coming down. Here's a pivot high, lower high, lower high. But you see it doesn't really count unless it has a pullback from an area. It comes back up. So we got this little trend right here. There's a hit, there's the lower high. There's your trend. Come over to the 5-minute chart, tweak it out a little bit. Here's your anchor, here's your hit. See if it comes up and retests this trend line. We did get the break of this one. We did get the break and the close below, but this This thing still has the potential going down, but let's see the CAD Swiss. Let me see where that's at. CAD Swiss. The Swiss needs to be showing significant strength to the Canadian dollar. It is showing some strength, but not what I would call significant.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
I don't know if maybe we can get to two questions before our time ends because we only have 3 minutes.
Okay.
But Rich was asking on the pound US on the 15-minute, he's chomping at the bit to go short. And another person would like to know about your opinion on gold as far as a buy, a sell, etc.
Okay, pound US. Let's take a look at that real quick. You wanna go
Short.
on the pound US. Let's go on 15-minute chart. Right now it's range bound between here and here. It's if I were to go short on the 15-minute, here's your wedge, the bigger wedge from a bigger time frame. It would have to. The only way I would go short is if I knew where this D is, if it was rejected. I say there is a strong possibility to go short if it breaks through this D, but can't close. If it can close above that, if it can maybe wick up, or if it doesn't close above this yellow line, and it comes back and retests, then I say this would be a trap in here. I'll be looking at this as a possible trap. And then, so to go short on this it would be a let's see, British pound. Let's see, where's my British pound and the US dollar. Dollar's weak, British pound's getting stronger. Looks like we're getting strength to the pound, to the dollar's getting weak. I wouldn't want to take it short. The dollar's getting weak, the pound's getting strong. I would not want to take it short. I would want to see it. If I were to take it short, I want to see a wick up here, can close above here, and then break this trend line. Then maybe take it short. But right now we're getting too much strength from here. Maybe even catch, let's say probably about like this. Your target would have to be you probably need your target to be the bottom of this trend line right in here. I'm not sure to take it short would be the way to go with this. I would hold off on that one. The other one was gold. And let's see what gold is here. If you do take it short, I'd have my stop. If you did take it short, I would have my stop somewhere above the 38.12 area. So you would need your stop would have to be, you need at least a 20 pip stop. I see it more going to the upside. Quite frankly, I think it's going to go more up than it, but it doesn't have a lot of room to the upside because it's going to have to get through this one. But you can maybe get 10 pips to the upside. I think it's got more strength to the upside than the downside. And let's see what else we have here. Where's my gold? And for gold, gold's going back up again. I know we have a few people that are in the gold, looking at a higher time frame. Take these off. Gold made a double bottom here. That's a good thing for gold as far as, but you're in the range. This is the range that you're trading with the gold. This is the daily range that it's trading right now. You're right in the middle of it. Move it to a 15-minute chart. I say it's got some room to the upside. And if you were to put some fib lines on, I would be looking at probably change the color of this thing. You've got a blue fib line right there. That could cause you some problems. If you can get a pass and check of this line right in here, then I say your next target would be up around the 1730 area, 1735, and then if it can break this, it could come all the way up to this part, but it's got some upward pressure. But it's also reaching an extreme there. I would be looking at buying pullbacks, or the next target on this is going to be this little area right in here. So I say between 15 minutes, blue and green. I say this would be your next target zone. And you'll probably get up into that area and then maybe do something else. But I would say this is going to have to get through. Nice move down. This is the origin. Again, this is the origin of the down move, which came right up in between these levels. So somewhere in here, I was probably either, if you're long, I'd be taking profits right around this area. If you're short, it could go higher. Right now, it's changing into a little bit of an uptrend here. And that's about all I can say about that. I don't know who's running the 9 o'clock session. But anyway, thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate everybody's attendance. I appreciate, love having you guys here asking questions. It makes the time go by a lot faster when we have some interaction with you guys, and I really, really appreciate it. Have a safe holiday. We are not going to be here tomorrow morning. We're going to take the day off. Everybody have a safe and stay green. We'll see you on Monday.